Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, Ed, aka Savage Tech Man. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast. And we're also on Facebook Live at Geek Homeworld, where we're taking your questions and comments. And it may seem like it's the end of the world, and it's not. Things are going to be fine. They're going to be okay. We're just going to talk about here, as we talk about on the podcast, film and TV, and I've done a couple episodes. I did one this morning, actually. It's, as of the recording of this, it's March 16th, but when the time it goes out on Libsyn, it'll actually say March 17th. So I guess this one, I don't know, it'll say March 18th. So anyway, regardless. So we're live on Facebook Live, Geek Homeworld, and I'm going to be taking questions and comments and just anything you want to talk about. We'll talk through it. And so what's been happening today? Let's see. We're under a national emergency. The president came on again and all his advisors, and they were talking about how basically things are going to change, and things are really going to change. Life has already changed. This coronavirus thing is just changing a lot of how we do how our lives are, and we pretty much said we're going into a depression. So the stock market fell just short of 3,000 points today, which was like a 12% decrease, and it's done that more than once in the last week or so, coming off some extremely big, highs for the stock market itself. And then things are in free fall. It's just crazy. There are 6 counties in California around the Bay Area there that are told to shelter in place because this coronavirus, COVID-19, has become a bad pandemic there. Like I said, stocks plunged about 12% today. And President Trump, he talked about in his press conference on the 16th here in the U.S., he talked about these few things I wanted to mention. And they're kind of things that the World Health Organization has been saying. And I keep forgetting the gentleman's name. It's an older gentleman. I know that he's 79 years old because he keeps saying that every show he's on, and he's been like on every show, but he is like our top infectious, or the top person for infectious diseases and stuff like that. And so he's talking about that. And he's been giving some great advice, and airports are shut down. Restaurants are shut down. Basically, these are the following points that were kind of major points that came out of the press conference again today with the president here in the U.S. It says the following: avoid gatherings of more than 10 people. Before it was 50. Before that, it was 250. Like the AMC cinemas and other theater chains. I think Regal also were doing the same thing. They were cutting in half over this past weekend. That's why we saw the very abysmal, record-breaking, absolutely horrible box office numbers, and they may be worse. The president said here, we're trying to beat the curve of this. We're trying to be in the U.S. ahead of it, according to officials. So they're asking people basically to not go to restaurants. They just came short of saying that. In some cities like New York, they've closed restaurants just down for only open for like takeout and stuff like that. And in some places, they're only, like I think in California, they're only letting people go to the grocery store, but the grocery stores are pretty much empty. Retailers are trying to get them restocked and everything, and all the, Kroger, Walmarts, and other places like that, or everywhere. But these are some of the things that President Trump mentioned, and for the first time in a while, whatever your politics are, I felt like today, I think he finally got it. And I'll tell you a little bit about my day. But here we go. These are the things that he mentioned in the press conference, some of the key points. And he said, avoid gatherings of more than 10 people. Avoid discretionary travel like shopping trips and social visits. Avoid bars, restaurants, and food courts. Instead, use the drive-through, pickup, and delivery options. Do not visit aged care facilities. If you work in healthcare, pharmaceutical, or food supply, quote, you have a special responsibility to maintain your normal work schedule, end quote. If someone in your house has tested positive, the entire household should stay home. Older people and those with underlying health conditions should stay home. It's grim. And so for the next 15 days, basically Trump has announced these guidelines in the U.S. and they're pretty much, I think they're necessary. I saw a thing with I think it was a governor of New Jersey, possibly, and they're talking about bringing in the National Guard to help. And in New York, their governor is doing the same thing, basically. They're bringing in help to, get food to people that are in quarantine zones and stuff like that. So that's happening. New Jersey is, quote, strongly discouraging travel between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m., starting tonight. This is March 16th, 2020 when I'm recording this. So basically that's a curfew. We're just a little bit short of martial law here in the entire country. Now, there have been a lot of cases where I live in Georgia and none in the county that I'm living in. So as of this moment, hey there, Patrick Roper's watching. I'm going to wave at him on Facebook there. Hi, Patrick. We're just talking about everything that's going on, and we're taking questions. And this is part of a podcast episode for Geek Homeworld. And so we're talking about how it's affecting the entertainment industry. And I know that, Patrick, if you're hearing me, you should be on Facebook Live since you're there. Please give me your comments. What do you think? You're an actor, and you've been on my show, Savannah on Film. We've talked about acting. We've talked about the industry. What are your thoughts since you're here? But anyway, there's a lot going on. There is the G7 leaders. They have basically said they'll do whatever they can to fight this pandemic. It's by nature, it's a global thing, and it's better to take care of things now instead of later. If we wait, like some countries did, I believe that, it can get worse, and it may still get worse. But we're not just here to talk doom and gloom. I want to tell you about a good situation that I had today. And I'm just going to go with that right now. And I think somebody else is watching. I'm very strong in my faith, and I respect others in their faith and their beliefs. But for me personally, my faith has always been something that's gotten me through a lot of things in life and continues to. And we're leading a little church group during Lent. I'm Catholic, so and it's called Living the Eucharist. And so we basically have a bit of scripture and we read over it, and it has some talking points. We have a little booklet and everything. And so a few of us worked it out where we could do a Google Hangout thing. And we did. And, it wasn't the greatest quality, but it served the purpose of fellowshipping. And this is leading to me talking about how I think we're going to respond. I mean, it was really enriching to my soul, but how is this changing our lives? That's a question I pose to people listening and watching on Facebook Live here. How's it changing your life? Is it changing your life? I know I have a lot of friends out there that are kind of cavalier about it. And, that's, everybody, they deal with things differently. And that's what makes us, wonderful, great people, that we're not all the same. We look at things differently. Some people are total doom and gloom. Some people are, buying all the toilet paper, buying all the water and stuff like that, when that's not really going to help you in this crisis. But I don't know. We're facing something that's bigger than I think 9/11 was here in the United States. This is global, and I see this actually providing an opportunity, because out of everything bad that occurs in the world, I think in life that there's always something good that comes from the bad. And this is such a great opportunity, because it's almost like with this virus, it's non-discriminate. It's going to kill a lot of people, unfortunately, or at the very least make a lot of people sick, and a lot of people that think that they're invulnerable, that, we go through our daily lives, no matter where we live in this world, and we have all these problems and all these things on top of us that we're dealing with this thing, and this is the worst thing ever, and that's the worst thing ever. And then you get to the next day, it's the worst thing ever, or it's something not so bad. But I really feel like this virus could strip away all of the nonsense, cut through the noise, and basically look at bringing us together. I mean, people talk about unity. We talk about working together. I know in the film industry, it's all about working together. It's all about putting that best foot forward and getting the work done. And just everyone in every department is so vital. And that the film industry is just a microcosm of what this world is. And, and when you're working towards one purpose, I think that's what's really important, and that can be applied in life, and I think it is. And so the fact that we face this, we're at war, but the entire world is at war with this virus, with something that's invisible, intangible. You can be going around almost, 4 or 5 days, not have any symptoms, and you could be contaminating others and not know it. I feel like Walking Dead, watching that, and some of these shows have prepared us in a way for how to deal with these, I dare say, post-apocalyptic kind of situations. And I'm not trying to overblow this or anything, but I look at a lot of things through the guise of entertainment. And, I like sci-fi. I like all those, post-apocalyptic kind of things. I'm a massive Terminator fan. So, even the bad Terminator films, I liked them. And T2's still the best, and it will always be. But I'm always a person of hope. My love for Star Wars, rebellions were built on hope. That didn't actually make it into Rogue One, but, that it was a great line in the advertising. But it's true, and this isn't, well, maybe it is a rebellion. It's a rebellion against possible eradication. It's like we're a flea on the back of the earth, and the earth is trying to shake us off. And I hate to say we're fleas. We're probably more than that. and Flea. He was in Red Hot Chili Pepper. So that's, who gets that reference? But I do. But anyway, we have a golden opportunity here to unite people. And it's a shame it takes things like this to unite the world, but I think this, if something could, this feels like, I watched Independence Day, one of my favorite sci-fi films, and if anything, that great speech that the president in that film, was it Bill Pullman? I cannot remember. I'm ashamed of myself. I don't remember. I think it's Bill Pullman. Anyway, that's who it's going to be for right now. But that wonderful speech he gives is so iconic. And that's what's great, though, is because, it's not just, it feels like all this was a dress rehearsal for the real thing. And it's so surreal to be alive this time in this age and to see something like this happen. We thought, there'd be another epidemic over here on that side of the world. It's not bothering us, at least in the U.S., okay, maybe there's a little bit, and it got a little bit closer than, but it's still not so bad. And then it got a little bit closer and a little closer. And then, it just, it's pretty bad out there, and it's going to get worse. I've talked to someone recently who, and I said this on a previous episode, that works, for a company that does stuff for the government. And they said, yeah, it's a lot worse. They told me days ago, it's a lot worse than what they're telling us. And, there's that herd mentality of, if you tell people, we say we want the honesty, we want the truth. Can we handle it? Not, can you handle the truth? No, we can't. The World Health Organization is trying to, along with a lot of the other agencies there, they're trying to give us the best information. I prefer scientists over politicians personally, because I think they give you the science of it. And I said before, one of my favorite astrophysicists is Neil deGrasse Tyson. And he said something to the effect that science doesn't care if you believe it or not, science fact, because it just is, and that's true. It's like math just is, 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. If you have my math skills, that's probably not true all the time, but, there's an exact science to it, and there's certain things, there's laws of physics and et cetera, and just how things are. And so many things in this world get spun by quote unquote the media, which is really a disservice when you say the media and just lump everybody together, because not everybody is the same. We're not all the same. We're different, and there's different opinions on different things, and that's great. I'm worried about the industry. I'm worried about people. I'm worried about my family, my friends. I'm worried about, I have enough to worry about. I worry about things on a global scale. Some people don't pay it any mind. They watch sports, or they watch, whatever their vice is, their entertainment, and that's all fine and dandy, and, to each their own. And, but, I think like it's been said, it was always going to get worse before it got better. And I think we just need some problems, some situations you have to hit head on. And I personally think this is something we should hit head on. We should go straight into it. We should, I'm trying to do my part. I'm self-isolating. I'm not sick. I don't have any, symptoms. I'm good. And I have health issues that would put me in a bunch of those risk categories. One of them being diabetes. That's one. Okay. And some people say, it's your state of mind, it's your frame of mind that gets you through these things. And yes, that to an extent is true, but there's also biology. You can't fight biology. Maybe, with positive thinking and exercise and different things, yes, you can improve situations, but sometimes some people have pre-existing conditions, or they have conditions that develop over time or with age. And, there's cancer patients, people that have survived cancer, people that are going through treatments. I worry about people like that might not get the appropriate things that they need, the appropriate treatments that they need because of what's going on with this pandemic and the schools closing. I think about the kids that aren't going to get fed. There was a statistic, and I'm trying to remember the exact number. I thought it said there were, and this could be wrong, but I thought it was like 60 million children, and that may be completely wrong. That number may be inflated, but it's a big number like that of children that are at the poverty level or near it, and they depend on school lunches, like the breakfast and lunch that they serve at school. And I've seen some reports on the news how some of the faculty, and I forgot what city or town this was in, but they were preparing drive-up lunches where the families would come up and they would give them just a bag lunch for breakfast and one for lunch, and they would hand them their homework. You can never get away from homework, can you? Because you got to keep learning. But some of the things that I think is going to come out of this is we're seeing more how we can telecommute. Things can be done remotely. Technology is there. It's evolved to the point, and it's getting better every day, or at least every year. And, you can do stuff like Skype people, or you can, Facebook Live someone, or you can whatever. So there are opportunities where you can connect with people, even if you're not physically there. For me, not being physically in church is not a good thing. I do enjoy that. I enjoy the camaraderie of the assembled people there, and I'm an outgoing person. Yes, I can be shy, but I'm pretty much an outgoing kind of person. And I have my moments. Don't get me wrong. But I like being around people. I kind of thrive off of that, being around, especially creative people and such. And so it's weird to not have that kind of face-to-face interaction. I've got friends that I've seen, but I can see them on a screen or whatever, but I can't see them in person, and part of that is, because it's better off. I don't want to be the one that contributes anything bad. Who knows? I may feel 110% great, which I feel fine, but I don't want to be, carrying something that's going to get to someone else. And, may someone who is, or vice versa, Yeah. Is it being a little bit of a germaphobe? I think we all basically have kind of become that almost overnight a little bit. The way we do things are going to change in all aspects of life. We're probably going to see, depending how long this goes. They were just saying June or July, and we're in the middle of March. So usually the flu goes away when it warms up. And how do we know that this, we don't know yet. They're about ready to do some human trials on some possible vaccines coming out of the private sector, which is great. But I hope that they find a vaccine. I hope that once you get, like, generally speaking, I was watching this virologist that was on one of the newscasts, and he said generally when you get, we don't know it with this particular coronavirus, COVID-19, but generally when you get like the flu virus or whatever that strain is that year, that coronavirus or whatever, then you get a little bit of immunity to it. Your body's like, okay, it builds these antibodies that fights them. That's why your body heats up, and it's trying to get this foreign body, this foreign substance out. And so, it turns up the heat and tries to, bake it out of you or whatever, and, they're saying that possibly, we don't know yet. There's not a lot of certainty, and that's something I want to underline. Not a lot of certainty, not a lot of certainty right now. But they're thinking that people that seem like they've gone through it or have gotten mild cases of the virus, but yet they come out on the other side of it, which is great. But there's a possibility they could get reinfected, or this virus could last through the end of the year. We don't know. It could disappear by the summer, or it could and then come back next flu season. But usually the flu will come and go. It's usually a fall kind of winter thing. If you're in the South, winter, you just pick a day and that's like winter. But a pollen season hits me bad. I'm borderline asthmatic that way, and it's just, my allergies. It's just something I live with. And for almost 2 weeks, which scared me a little bit. This is way before any of this pandemic thing got going, before it was even officially that, and before it was really, taking root anywhere near us. I think all but one state, I think West Virginia is the only state right now at this moment that doesn't or hasn't reported any infections. And that could be because, lack of testing throughout the country. I think once we get more tests out, we're going to find out that it's much worse. And it's better for me. It's tell me the bad news up front. Let me know what it is. Yeah, I'm going to worry about it, but let's just trudge through it and get through it and get to the other side. Cause, I don't know. I always believe in hope. And anyway, so yeah, for a couple of weeks I had the allergy thing going on, and I was I know it's not that, I knew it was allergies, and I got over that, and then all of a sudden this pandemic thing blows up, becomes a pandemic and it's everywhere. And what do? Do you grab a case of beer and whatever else and enjoy life? Sure, if that's your thing. Do you isolate yourself in a airtight Ziploc bag in your doomsday shelter or whatever, if that's your thing, if you think that's the best, but I think there's a little in between that, and we got to be sensible about it. Of course, here's the thing. It is okay, just like anything in life, it is okay to be fearful. It is okay to worry. It is okay. Those are natural human emotions that we all feel. You don't want to let your emotions rule you. But I think we all have to experience those different emotions. Like if someone is really sick, you go through different emotions, and you have good days, you have bad days, especially if it's a chronic illness. And some people, when you think you're in that nosedive, you can pull out of it. And some people don't, but some people do. And that's the wonderful thing is there's a lot of unknowns. Those unknowns can be scary, but it's okay that they're scary. It's okay that I might be breathing in millions of particulates of the virus right now. I'm not. I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but you never know. But that's the thing. It's okay. It's okay to, if you need, I don't think you need, 1,200 cases of toilet paper. That's not going to make your life easier. It might make it a little more convenient, but it doesn't solve the problem. It's kind of the wrong medicine to apply to this situation. So I don't know. So I'm not sure. I can't really tell who's watching on the Facebook Live. So if you're there, leave a comment if you've got something to say. If you want to talk about something, if you've got an opinion about it, whether you agree with me or disagree, that's cool. Let's talk about it. couple of nights ago or days ago, I did an episode of the podcast, and it was a Facebook Live also. And I was talking to somebody who's going to be working on a film, and I was able to give her some advice, I think. And not that I'm the know it all, be it all by any means, but this person said I was able to put them to ease, and I thought that was pretty cool. That made me feel good. But I just hope that particular person is doing well on their production. And I don't know. I'm going to be staying home. I'm going to try to play by the rules here not just for myself, my family, but for all of you out there. And for people I'll never meet. I am going to do what needs to be done just to make sure that we're all good. I don't want this pandemic to become something that is insurmountable, because I believe the human spirit and our ingenuity. I know there's a happy ending to this story. It may be tragic along the way, but I have every bit of faith in the talents and the ingenuity and just the that tenacious human spirit that we have, that we all share, to find a way through this. And I think, like any situation, we are much better when we're together. That is, you know what? That is a song by Jack Johnson. We're much better when we're together. Something like that. Now everybody's going to look up the Jack Johnson song. See, music. It's music or films. There's all those references. That's where they come into handy for me. So we banned travel from Europe. Just added the UK, and I know we have some listeners to the podcast over there. Our thoughts, we have a lot of people around the world that listen to the podcast here, and so I don't know what I can tell you that's going to make it any better for you, especially if you or someone you know and love, friends, whatever, people that are important to you. I don't know how to tell you it's going to be okay, other than say it is going to be okay, and that you're going to be fine, and you'll get through this. You're strong enough to get through whatever life's going to throw at you. And there's always, I think, like I said earlier, a lesson to be learned in these tragic times. And this feels like the most monumental, surreal thing. If someone told me we were in a fake reality or a parallel universe, if I didn't believe him before, I feel like I'd believe him now, because this just seems so much like a science fiction film. This doesn't seem like this is actually happening. And, it's kind of hard it's like going through the different stages of death. It's, or something like that. You trying to wrap your mind around it and try to figure out what this means and where do you go. There's the denial of it, and there's, eventually you have acceptance. Well, I refuse to accept that this is the end. And if it is the end, so be it. What can we do? What can we do? All I know is we can be good people, and we can be good to each other. And I know that's pie in the sky, but that's just how I am. Okay. I don't apologize for that. I believe in the relative good of people, that in the worst times we show in situations like this, and the worst of us comes out, but also the best of us come out. And those qualities that we have, that's what makes us human. That's what makes us flawed. And we're wrong about a lot of things, but some things we get right. Compassion is always right. Helping someone else is always a good thing. It's usually a good thing. I know some deeds, what is it? Some deeds go left, good deeds go left unpunished, or the road to hell's paved with good intentions, whatever platitudes. But I don't know. So the Fed, they slashed the rates to pretty much zero, and stock market tumbled even more. So, if you've got money in the bank, I looked at a statement I had, and I had to take a second look. I was like, okay, just remember, you're in for the long haul. You're in for the long haul. That's the thing when you invest. It's, if you're investing in something in futures and stuff like that, you're in for the long haul. If you've got that 401k and right now it's disappeared, it's going to come back. Trust me, it's going to come back. And that's the thing is, and I'm not trying to say I agree with Trump here, but I do feel that, I feel this almost on a spiritual level too, but that maybe we as a people, as citizens of the world, we have to go through this. Okay? Maybe we have to go to this extent to have all of the things that we hold precious and taken away from us, or the threat of it to just be taken away. And then we're going to come back stronger than ever. I believe that. And I believe that we're going to come back as a more tight-knit global community. Will there be a lot of people lost? There've already been a lot of people lost. And there may be people I'm talking to now that may see this, that are going to be gone. You're just gone. And there's nothing can be done. And that's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult on so many levels. And I know it's difficult already in many parts of the world. A lot of people are suffering, and that suffering doesn't need to be, that's not going to be the epitaph of humans, that all we did was suffer and we just disappeared. I don't think so. I think we're going to be around in some capacity. I think we're going to make it through this. I'm content that we are. It's my intention for the universe to work towards healing and towards love and towards people working together. And I just know it. And it's cool to know that, but don't think I don't have my panicky days. I do. I'm being like brutally honest here. I have days when fear is the path to the dark side. No, fear can be crippling. I can imagine, and this is what makes, I think, being a creative, I'm a writer, so I get that, I've already thought up like some great ideas for some film shorts that I could do, some good screenplays, I think, of relating to what's going on in the world. And but that's the thing, is that fear turning into something that's productive. I can put it. I'm blessed that I can put it down, write it down, and I haven't really wrote much about this current situation, and I know it's going to spark some creativeness in me, and so I'm interested to see how it's going to affect me. I like to kind of look at myself and say, okay, well, how is this affecting me, and how am I going to respond to it? Because a lot of things in life are how you respond to them. And it's not just, doom and gloom and the sky's falling and all that. But it's a little bit of both. It's okay. It's okay that I'm terrified. It's not going to work out. But I'm also, at the same time, I'm optimistic. Terrified yet optimistic. That's weird, isn't it? But yeah, that's the thing, So I think, I know that our strength lies in each other. I know that if we pull together on this, it's not just cities, counties, countries, states, countries, nations, whatever, the world. We all pull together. I think we're going to come out of the other side of this virus, so to speak. We're going to get through it, and I think we'll be better for it. I mean, I hate to say that this had to happen, but, and who knows what's coming? No one knows, unless you're a time traveler. And then, but, is that real? But anyway, it's been devastating to the box office. I'm reading something here, actually. It says Italy reported 3,590 more cases on Sunday that just passed, and today is it's Tuesday the 6th, March 16th, Monday, March 16th. Tomorrow is Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day. And I'm from Savannah, born and raised, and love it. Beautiful city, beautiful city. It's so weird that there won't be a mass this year, because there's always that. Then there's the parade downtown that people come from all around the world, including Ireland, and they come to the parade, and there's not going to be a parade. And it's so funny. It's like everything was shutting down the last couple of days, and today was like the day I think everybody said, oh my gosh, everything is literally shutting down. And it's like everywhere you turn, it's like when we were doing the group thing tonight, my wife and I, with our church group, part of our church group there, we were doing the online thing and discussion there, and which is really good, and it's something I really needed. My soul needed it, and it was really cool. But when we're doing that, it was just like when we got offline, I said, oh, it's time to eat. I literally was going to say, let's go somewhere and get something to eat. Well, we can't. I guess we technically could, but we're not really supposed to. And, school's been canceled all over the country pretty much. I mean, everything's shutting down, and it's, every day seems to get a little bit worse. And there was a hacking at the health services or whatever website that's trying to, get information out about that. And so there's a bad nature in some people that want to take advantage of situations like this. And I don't understand that. I just think that's just so bad. That's wrong. It's wrong. You shouldn't do something like that. This is a time to be working together, not against each other. And, but yeah, it's weird to, I don't know, they said, are we going to, 10 to 15 days, they really are encouraging people not to leave their homes. And, Times Square shut down. It's like, you name it. There's no sports going on. It's like you watch the news and I didn't see a sports guy because there's nothing to report. I can't remember when it's ever been that. None of us can, I think. And so it's going to be tough, and these creature comforts that we're used to having, and, just hopping in your car and going someplace or riding your bike to this place might not be an option, at least for a while. Or a little while, we'll look back, and I'll probably look back on some of these episodes and just kind of laugh and like, what were we thinking? And that's what I want to do. I want to get to the other side of this and say, gosh, we just made a big ado about nothing. Wouldn't that be a relief if tomorrow all of us woke up tomorrow, whenever tomorrow is for you, wherever you're at, and this was just a bad dream, or this, they find a vaccine tomorrow and everybody just go to your local health clinic or wherever, I don't know, and you get your shots. You drive by and get your shot and you're good. That would be great. It could happen, but it's not going to happen overnight. And these things take time, and things got to run their course, it's This is a different episode than I normally do, and I didn't think I'd really be able to do many episodes, but I wanted to provide this for people listening, and it's also going to be in podcast form. So, there's a couple episodes like this, and just, you can kind of track how things were over the days. And we're talking about film and TV. That's the focus of the podcast here, but some things sometimes are bigger than that. And, the fact that we talk about film and TV when everything is, the whole world shutting down doesn't mean that I think that this is any more important. This is all superficial in the big scheme of things of, our entertainment, our sports, our whatever, It's just stuff we do to occupy ourselves in a life. And I don't want to get too existential here, but it does matter, and sometimes we need to focus on these little minute things, like the box office was horrendous this weekend, but there were some good films, and I actually went out and saw Invisible Man. I saw it for the second time, and that's like, I think, my favorite movie of the year so far, and who knows, might be the last movie I saw. We saw Emma, which was pretty good. That's probably going to be the last movie I get to see for a while, because theaters are pretty much going to be shut down. If not now, they're heading that way. And I know in New York, LA, I mean, it's just, it's catastrophic because it's shutting down. And then worry about the theaters on their side of it. How are they going to deal with this? I saw online that Amazon is going to be hiring 100,000 full and part-time people because people are going online and buying their stuff online to get it delivered. And so, that's kind of good for the economy. Even if they're short-term jobs or whatever, I don't know. But when you think about everything else, I mean, it's just, some things mean more than others, and some things have more gravity than others. But, we have to look at things in this perspective of what they are. And it's okay to laugh. It's okay to make jokes, even though they probably hit close to home for some. I've seen some funny memes, like it's the Ides of March, and I saw the one somebody just recently posted where they've got masks on. Like that's kind of like buying toilet paper when there's a virus out there, right? So you've got Caesar and all that, and beware the Ides of March, but he's about to get stabbed there, and they're worried about catching a virus or something with the surgical mask on or something. But, we have to have those moments of levity, those moments of fun. And so, I don't know. So I'm just looking at some headlines here, and so let's see. This is I'm seeing this. Well, we know Italy was hit very hard, and they're still reeling under this. The Vatican says there will be no Easter week celebrations, and that's Pope Francis has said that. And he's went to a couple sites and prayed, a couple churches there, and that I believe in prayer. I believe it helps. That's a personal belief of mine. But I mean, Italy's hurting bad. They're probably, I'm hearing like the epicenter of it now, where it was China. There is some recovery in China, and I think they were late to admit how bad the problem was, and they tried to contain it. And I'm not blaming anyone, but maybe that's why it got out and got loose like it did. But it reminds me of that movie, and it's one of the Planet of the Apes movies. it might have not have been in this last trilogy, but if you remember the end scene where they show the pilot and he's coughing and he has like a little blood or something come out his nose or out his mouth, he coughs into a handkerchief or something like that. And then they show these lines going all across, and that's how this, whatever that virus was that wiped out most of the humans. So that's on there, and I'm getting the thing, wrap it up. So I'm getting the signal back there to wrap it up. So I'm about to end this soon, but yeah, in the film, you know, they have the lines going and all the airplanes, and that's how everything spread. So, life imitating fiction, et cetera, et cetera. So, I've seen some people pop in and out, but nobody ever wants to put a comment in there. I don't know what it is. A few people commented on the last one, but I want to thank everybody who has listened to this. I hope you got some value out of this, Facebook Live, out of this audio podcast version of it. And, you know, there's not much to talk about in entertainment. There is a lot for streaming. Now, if you're into streaming, I mean, Disney's done some things. They've kind of moved up the release of The Rise of Skywalker, but it's still not on Disney Plus. And, who cares? Anyway, but I don't know. You know, I hate that probably the best film, it was probably going to end up in my top 10 automatically, was A Quiet Place Part 2. I was so psyched, and I was at the theater the other day, and I was kind of sad, and I took a picture of the poster because it's supposed to come out on Friday, the 20th, I think, or something like that, Thursday, Friday of this week, and it's not. It's been postponed indefinitely. Of course, the first one was No Time to Die, which it definitely is No Time to Die. The last Daniel Craig 25th James Bond film, and it's been pushed back to November. And that begs to question, are we going to have a summer box office? Is this it? Or somebody had posted an article, and I didn't get to read it, so I can't really, you know, speak it as fact, but because I haven't read it completely, but it looks like they may be offering some of these films that were going to be released in theaters for a limited time to rent or to buy for like $20. I think it's Universal. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of that, but I just saw the headline, but I didn't get to, you know, understand it, read it and understand it. But, anyway, so yeah, the film industry, what's going to happen? I don't know. You know, what's weird is, and this is something strange to think about, that a lot of the franchises I grew up with, and like Star Wars, wrapped up in 2019. Lord of the Rings trilogy, I don't really count the Hobbit trilogy, it wasn't that good, but Lord of the Rings trilogy wrapped up. Well, Matrix was wrapped up, even though the last one sucked. Revolutions kind of was counterproductive to the whole trilogy, but now we've got Matrix 4 coming out. You know, that's supposed to come out this year, along with or next year. I can't remember. It's in one of my previews. I have to check a previous podcast episode I did of the previews of films of 2020. You can check that out at geekhomeworld.libsyn.com and on iTunes and where podcasts are at. And anyway, but yeah, we're getting Matrix 4 and John Wick supposed to come out on the same day, which I think is crazy. I want to see the next Bill and Ted's whatever adventure it's going to be. There's a lot of films I'm looking forward to, and I don't know if we're going to see them this year. Is everything going to get bunched together? We're certainly not going to have $1 billion films. You know, I don't see it. You know, the next one on the chopping block to get pushed back, because Mulan I was looking forward to. I remember the Disney cartoon, but its main source was going to be China, and then China's not in any position still to premiere films. But I know it was going to get a massive box office from that. That was going to be $1 billion film, I think. Black Widow, they still haven't said. Marvel haven't said. It's coming out May 1st, I think, somewhere around there. But it's going to unofficially kick off the summer season. I want to see Black Widow. It looks awesome from the trailers. It's kind of really grown on me. And it might get pushed back, and do you, and this also lends to the fact, do people want to get to a point where streaming is the thing? I mean, I stream stuff. I have Disney Plus, and in between Mandalorian and some other things, there's not much on there that I'm watching right now. But when Mandalorian Season 2 comes out, Rise of Skywalker comes out, I'll watch it, I'm sure. I'm catching up on some of my old X-Men cartoons that were awesome. Still are. And, just different things. There's some cool stuff on there. But we're moving away from physical media, obviously. And we were already heading that way. And so is this the push it's going to take to maybe change the whole theater experience? I hope not, because there's a couple things. I mentioned this on the previous episode, talking about, what's going on in the world here, but small films, independent films, are they even going to get a chance? South by Southwest was canceled. CinemaCon was canceled. CinemaCon is like where the theater owners get together with the studios, and the studios kind of pitch their films, and then the theaters go, okay, yeah. And pretty much if you're, like I said, if you're like Marvel, then you're going to get, your pick of the litter. Here, you can have this week. Here, 4,200 screens, whatever. And, so that was pretty big, that not happening. And so the industry is just, it's in free fall. Everything is in free fall. And it's just an unknown. There's just that unknown quantity of, how long is this all going to last, and how is it going to decimate the film industry and all that. So anyway, I don't know. So those are 10,000 questions. And anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this episode of Geek Homeworld podcast. We've got several on there. If you're bored to death and you're sitting in the house and you're doing the right thing and staying away from people and such, I encourage you to go to geekhomeworld.libsyn.com, check out some of the podcasts or whatever you listen to podcasts on. And I think you'll find a lot of value in a lot of our content that we've got there. Got a lot going on. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope to do some more of these, here from my studio, here. But I hope to do some more of these, Facebook Lives, and hopefully people will be interactive with us, a little bit more and ask those questions and comments and all that good stuff. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I never know how to end an episode. I just go run on and on and on. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye and, for now, and, just go out there and let's do the right things. Let's take care of each other. Let's just be good to each other. Let's appreciate those small little moments that we take for granted, because you never know. You never know anymore. So nothing's promised. And I want to get back in the theater. I want to get back in, watching some films and seeing some, what's going to be the breakaway hit this year. I'm used to talking about film and TV, and I'm watching some stuff, and I'm catching up on some of my Netflix shows and my Amazon stuff. And so I've got a lot to watch, but, I like podcasting too, so I'll be doing that too. But everybody stay safe, stay healthy, do what you got to do. And I thank you for listening, and I'm going to end the Facebook Live now, and thank you everybody out. And I just hit the microphone. Of course I did. Amateur mistake. All right. Thank y'all. Click. Bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Geek Homeworld with your host, Ciucevich Techman. You can find us on Libsyn, Google+, follow and interact with us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, listen to us on iTunes and leave a review, subscribe to us on YouTube, read our thoughts on Blogger. See you again on the Geek Homeworld.